Hello. So, do you think that resale is your only option when you're looking at property here in the Sedona area? Think again. You may want to consider buying a lot. Over probably about on average, about 20% of the properties sold residential here in the Sedona area are residential lots. Today, Paul Galloway and myself, Shannon Volk, we're going to be going over some of the reasons why buying a lot might be a better idea for you at this time, as well as some of the different considerations that you want to think about when you are buying land.
So we're at the top of Sky Ridge Estates in the top cul-de-sac, and awesome views. Love it up here. And some of the pluses about buying lots: they're less expensive, they're more affordable. There's no time limit to build in here. You can take your time and design a home. If you're on a budget, we can design a smaller house, like 2,500 square feet, and then plan on building a guest house later, another 1,000 feet. You don't got to build 3,500 or 4,000 right off the bat. Lots are great in that way, and you can design, like I said, design exactly what you want. I think it's awesome, but that's just me.
And another thing to consider too is if you buy a lot and build and put a new construction home on the lot, same things that Paula had mentioned, you can also not have to deal with some of the maintenance issues that you might on a resale that's with an older house. Okay,
Just
so
like
buying a piece of land versus buying a resale home and building on that piece of land, you can take advantage of some of the newer building products, like the newer roofs, the newer types of HVAC, and some of the more sustainable types of products that are out on the market.
just like buying a brand new car. We all want the brand new car because of the technology and it's on warranty. Same thing with new homes. Right now at Sky Ridge, we're offering a special incentive for the first three lots. We're offering 100, actually 200,000 off the appraised value, and we put one closed Friday 2 days ago for 500,000, and this one right here is in escrow at 795. So we're going to do one more. This was probably the best lot in the subdivision that just sold for 795. We're building a $6 million house on it for a client.
So one of the other things that you want to consider when you're purchasing a lot is if the infrastructure is in place and how far the water, the utilities, internet connection is going to be.
This subdivision has water, sewer, electric, and natural gas will all be under the road, all hidden. But most of the lots in town are on sewer, 90% of them. And if they're not on sewer, they're going to be on sewer. Their goal is to have every house up. But there are some lots that require septic or aerobic systems. Difference between septic and aerobic: aerobic is an actual little sewer system, so the ground doesn't have to perk. It doesn't have to. A septic system, the solids fall to the bottom of the tank. The liquid, runs off, and the ground has to be able to absorb it. So there's no odor or anything. That your toilets don't flush any different. It's exactly the same. But aerobic systems can cost 30, 40 grand. Septic can cost 10 or 20, but it's 10 grand to hook up the sewer on a
So
lot
let's
as
talk
well.
about costs associated with lots. And first and foremost, financing options. You go.
Similar to houses, we have lenders that'll do lot loans and houses. Typical down payment 20% down. I might be able to get creative on financing in this subdivision mine, that I can maybe carry a second and allow you to come up with very little money down. It's not out of the question that I could carry a second for 20% and that you could get 80% financing, and that would be putting zero down.
Lots will also, you'll need to remember that you do need to pay your property taxes every year. And if you're buying in a community with any sort of community assessments like an HOA, you'll have to pay for that, dependent on whatever their rules are in terms of monthly or quarterly or yearly HOA fees. Also, something to consider are environmental assessments, like checking for issues like soil quality or flood risks. So one last thing that we think would be a really great thing to consider when you're thinking about purchasing a lot is to be able to really walk the lot, to consider where your views and the orientation of the property is going to be on that lot.
You'd be shocked how many architects, great architects, people will hire a really expensive architect and they'll build the house facing the wrong way. We see it all the time. Very common, especially in some of these older resale houses. I mean, you kind of think, what were they thinking? Did the architect even stand on the lot and see where the view was? Why did he put the view the wrong way? So yeah, very important that but again, that's the help of a realtor like Shannon and I that understand building and construction, and that we take all that into consideration when we're showing you a lot. Shannon said, if you want to walk up it and walk all over it, there's what they call setbacks on the side and the front. So there's a building envelope in the middle that you can build on. So you want to find the middle of that lot and say, okay, here's my view from the living room. You don't want south facing. I've said this before, but in Colorado and in cold areas, you want south and west facing because it naturally heats. In Sedona and Scottsdale and Arizona, you don't want it. You want north that way and or east, because it's less sun. You don't need shades and you don't need to tint your windows and put awnings, and your electricity, your AC bill is going to be lower. So those are all things to take into consideration when buying a lot and a house in Sedona for that matter.
So today we touched on cost effectiveness of potentially buying a lot versus buying a resale property. We talked about some of the costs that are associated with buying a lot. We've talked about some of the views and orientation, the infrastructure that goes into buying a lot.
Septic or sewer or aerobic.
What else did we talk about?
That's really about it.
Yeah. So if you thought this was helpful, please let us know. We'd love to be able to connect with you.
And don't forget, we're offering great deals on the first few lots. This is a 19-lot subdivision, Sky Ridge Estates right here. Center of town. You can walk to Los Abrigados Spa Resort. You can walk to all the restaurants, Fine Dining Creek. And we're offering really good deals on the first three. One closed Friday, one is in escrow, so one more. Then prices go up $100,000 to appraised value.
Our contact information is in the description below. So please reach out. We'd love to help you out with a lot.
Absolutely. We'd love to walk these lots with you and take you up to where we are in person.